List of important idioms and phrases beginning with a 1. Xiii Feel meaning, vulnerable spot. The small fault or weakness in a person or system that can result in its failure. Example, the corrupt minister is regarded as the government's Achilles heel and is expected to resign. 2. A bone of contention meaning, if there is an issue that always causes tension and arguments. Example, a bone of contention between a husband and wife is that the husband always spends too much money. 3. The dead letter meaning, an argument or law not followed by anyone. Example, the blue laws here are a dead letter, all the stores open on Sundays and holidays for that the 11th hour meaning, be too late. Example, she always turned her term papers in at the 11th hour. 5. A queer fish meaning, a strange person. Example, I knew his father and he was a queer fish too. 6. The worm's eye view meaning, having very little knowledge about something. Example, the novel provides us with a worm's eye view of society. 7. Back on the heels of meaning, close behind or soon after something. Example, as in mom's birthday comes on the heels of Mother's Day. 8. Apple of someone's eyes meaning, someone loved very much. Example, his youngest son was the apple of his eye. 9. Ask for the moon meaning, to ask for too much. Example, there's no point hoping for a permanent peace in the area. It's like asking for the moon. 10. Asleep at the switch meaning, not to be alert on opportunity. Example, health experts were asleep at the switch when the disease began to spread rapidly again. 11. At sixes and sevens meaning, to be lost and bewildered. Example, Priya is at sixes and sevens since the death of her husband. 12. At someone's beck and call meaning, to be always ready to serve. Example, imagine what it's like to have a cook and a maid at your beck and call. 13. At an arm's length. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. Meaning, to keep at a distance. Example, Ram always keeps his friends at arm's length, so that no one gets close enough to hurt his feelings. 14. The red letter day meaning, an important day. Example, a special occasion, as in when Ram comes home from his tour of duty, that'll be the red letter day. 15. A 9 days wonder meaning, pleasure for a short time. Example, his music was derided by an older generation convinced that he was a 9-day wonder. 16. Alma mater meaning, institution where I got my education. Example, she has been offered the position of Professor of International Economic Policy in Delhi, her alma mater. 17. At the drop of a hat meaning willingness to do something instantly. Example, she expects me to make dinner at the drop of a hat even if I am very busy with office work. 18. A cold fish meaning, a person devoid of emotions. Example, Ram isn't very demonstrative, but his mother was a cold fish so he probably gets it from her. 19. The cock and bull story meaning, an improbable excuse. Example, she told me some cock and bull story. 20. Above board meaning, straight, without concealment, legitimate, open. Example, no tricks, please. We want the deal to be above board completely. List of important idioms and phrases beginning with B. 1. Back to square one meaning, to be back at the starting point of something. Example, I picked up all the leaves and branches from my lawn yesterday but there was a storm last night and now I'm back to square one. 2. Back on one's feet, meaning, to be healthy again after sickness. Example, I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks while I had the flu but now I'm back on my feet. 3. By hook or by crook meaning, at any cost / by fair or unfair mean. Example, I decided that I was going to get that job by hook or by crook. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. For blow one's drum meaning, self-praise. Example, anyone will tell you she one of the best journalists we've got, although she'd never blow her own horn. 5. Beat the air meaning, do useless effort. Examples, the candidates for office were so much alike that we thought our vote amounted to beating the air. 6. Bed of thorns meaning, full of difficulties. Examples, life of an ill person always remains a bed of thorns. 7. Beat about the bush meaning, to discuss a topic without being specific about anything. Examples, don't beat around the bush. Just tell me where my brother is. 8. Bag and baggage meaning, with all one's belongings. Example, tired of their tantrums, the landlady asked her tenants to vacate the house, bag and baggage, in a week's time. 9. Blue-eyed boy meaning, a man who is liked and admired by somebody in authority. Example, she gets in charge of all the assignment except the finance, which is kept for the blue-eyed boy. 10. Bread and butter meaning, someone's livelihood. Example, teaching classic music to young boys and girls is her bread and butter. 11. Bear the brunt of meaning, take the main force, often of a criticism or unpleasant event. Example, when the teachers and other government employees went on a strike, they did not realize they'd have to bear the brunt of public anger when they go back to work. 12. Burn the candle at both the ends meaning, exhaust someone's energies or resources by leading a hectic life. Example, she has been burning the candle at both ends by doing the full-time job and preparing for her international English language test exams. 13. Bury the hatchet meaning, make peace, end a quarrel, settle one's differences to become friends again. Example 1. The two neighboring countries India and Pakistan have often been advised by the world bodies to bury the hatchet for their own progress. 14. Bury head in the sand meaning, refuse to think about an unpleasant situation, hoping that it will improve so that you will not have to deal with it. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. Example, parents and principal said Raggy was being ignored and accused the girl's hostile warden of burying her head in the sand, in Perth City of Australia. 15. Blue blood meaning, descent from nobility, aristocrat. Example, she often tells her friends that she has blue blood flowing through her veins. 16. By meaning, as result of something. Example, Mark got what he wanted by the requesting and threatening. 17. Break a leg meaning, good luck, best wishes. Example, to wish someone luck, especially before a performance. Break a leg. I shouted out to him before he rushed in for his auditions. 18. Born with a silver spoon in mouth meaning, to be born to parents who are rich and have a good social rank. Example, he does not need this job as much as I do, he is born with a silver spoon in his mouth. 19. Beyond the pale meaning, an unacceptable way to express something that is not considered decent. Example, they broke up because her behavior was simply beyond the pale. List of important idioms and phrases beginning with C. 1. Call a spade meaning, speak frankly and directly. Example, well, I believe it's time to call a spade. 2. Come through with flying colors meaning, be highly successful. Example, the officer training was grueling, but he came through with flying colors. 3. Cock and bull story meaning, made up story that one should not believe. Example, don't give me that cock and bull story. 4. Cross one's T's and dot meaning, be precise, careful and one's I's exact. Example, the negotiations are nearly finished, but we still have to dot the I's and cross the T's. 5. Chew the cud meaning, ponder over something. Example, he sat for a moment chewing the cud before he spoke. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. 6. Close but no cigar meaning, coming close to a successful outcome only to fall short at the end. Example, it was close but no cigar for Johnny as he came second once against 7. Cry over spilled milk meaning, one shouldn't worry over things that have already happened and that cannot be changed. Example, yes, we made a mistake, but there's no point in crying over spilled milk. 8. Cried wolf meaning, someone is calling for help when it's not really needed. Example, if you cry wolf too often, people will stop believing you. 9. Curiosity killed the cat meaning, mind your own business, as too much poking and prodding could lead to harm. Example, why are you going away so suddenly? Curiosity killed the cat. 10. Cut to the chase meaning, to get to the point, leaving out all of the unnecessary details. Similar to popular sayings such as beating around the bush. Example, I didn't have long to talk so I cut to the chase and asked whether he was still married. 11. Call out meaning, to shout. Example, I called out to him but he disappeared in the dark. 12. Call upon meaning, to order. Example, to require. I was unfortunately called upon to give evidence against him. 13. Carry on meaning, to continue. Example, If you carry on working hard, your business will soon flourish. 14. Cast away meaning, to throw aside example: you must cast away all your apprehensions and accept the offer. 15. Catch up with meaning, to overtake example: last week I had to stay late at the office to catch up with some pending files. List of important idioms and phrases beginning with D. 1. Donkey's year meaning, a very long year: example, nowadays one has to wait donkey's years to get justice. 2. Dog days meaning, hottest days of summer: www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. Example, the dog days of summer are a difficult period for those who have to work out in the open. 3. Dead ringer meaning, the duplicate of the exact things. Example, the car that is parked in that garage is a dead ringer of the car that my dad used to own a couple of years back. 4. Dark horse meaning, one who was previously unknown but is now prominent: example, you never can tell, some dark horse many come along and win the House of Lords seat. 5. Dog's life meaning, a miserable, unhappy existence. Example, I have to work every day from dawn to sunset and come back home to take care of the children. It's really a dog's life. 6. Down to earth meaning, simple, decent, realistic, practical and straightforward. Example, she is very down to earth person, not at all attracted by the glamour world. 7. Down at heel meaning, out of luck, shabbily dressed: example, since Ashok lost his job, he is always down at heel. 8. Doom and gloom meaning, the feeling of pessimism and despondency, often with regard to business or political prospects. 9. Drive up the wall meaning, to make someone angry or irritated: example, the loud music played by my neighbors is driving me up the wall. 10. Don't put all your eggs in one basket meaning, don't put all your resources into one thing: example, it would be better if you applied to several companies instead of just one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. 11. Dead and buried: if something is dead and buried, it has all long been settled and is not going to be reconsidered. 12. Dead in the water: if something is dead in the water, it isn't going anywhere or making any progress. 13. Dip your toe in the water meaning, also dip a toe in the water, said when you start something carefully because you are not sure whether it will work or not. Example, I am doing some volunteer work at the new school to try and dip my toe in the water of working in the education field. 14. Devil of a time meaning, if you have a devil of a time, you have a very difficult time. Example, before she divorced, Anne had a devil of a time with her husband. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. 15. Devil's advocate meaning, to present a counter-argument: don't count your chickens before the eggs have hatched. Example, he offered to play devil's advocate and argued against our case so that we could find out any flaws in it. 16. Don't give up the day job meaning, you are not very good at something. You could definitely not do it professionally. Example, I watched your performance at the theater today. My advice is don't give up your day job. 17. Down in the dumps meaning, the gloomy, unhappy examples. Little John is down in the dumps because all her friends are gone away with their parents. 18. Do for meaning, fulfill the purpose: example, this book will do for the IDA's examination. 19. Draw up meaning, to draft: example, I was engaged in drawing up plans for new business. 20. Drop the line meaning, send a brief letter: examples, if you've got a few minutes to spare you can always drop her a line. 21. Dot the I's and cross the T's meaning, to do something very carefully and in a lot of detail. Examples, she writes highly accurate reports, she always dots her I's and crosses her T's. 22. Dig own grave meaning, do something stupid that will seriously harm oneself, cause one's own ruin or downfall. Example, if she continues to behave like this to her senior officer, she'll be digging her own grave. List of important idioms and phrases beginning with E. 1. Every dog has his day meaning, sooner or later, everyone has his share of good fortune. Example, you may become successful in your business someday. Every dog has his day. 2. Early bird meaning, the person who gets up early or arrives early for something. Example, my sister is an early bird and gets up very early every morning. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. 3. Egg on meaning, to urge or push someone to do something. Example, the boy is always egging his friend on to do stupid things. 4. Eye of the storm meaning, the center of a problem. Example, the politician was in the eye of the storm because of the accounting scandal. 5. Excuse someone meaning, to forgive someone. Example, we excused a man for his rude comments because he did not know any better. 6. Eagle eye meaning, quick to discover unusually keen sight. Example, a good student has an eagle eye for his errors. 7. Empty vessels make the most noise meaning, those who know or have little knowledge often shout the loudest. Example, Ram tells as if he's an expert on everything, but empty vessels make most noise. 8. Turn one's key meaning, to perform satisfactory physical labor or to provide other worthy services in return for remuneration, lodging, or other benefits, to support oneself financially. List of important idioms and phrases beginning with F. 1. For good meaning, forever or permanently. Example, I am leaving for good this time. 2. Few and far between meaning, not very many or not appearing very frequently. Example, he grew up at a time when jobs were few and far between. 3. Fancy price meaning, very high price. Example, I have paid a fancy price for this ordinary pen. 4. Flogging the dead horse meaning, to waste time trying to do something that will not succeed. 5. Fish out of water meaning, in bad condition. Example, in the company old man I felt like a fish out of water. 6. Fool's paradise meaning, in false wish. Example, if you hope to pass, you are in a fool's paradise. 7. 40 winks meaning, little sleep in day. www.kimax.in. Downloaded from www.kimax.in. Example, one likes to enjoy 40 winks in summer. 8. Flesh and blood meaning, human nature, a normal human being. Example, we're going to need some fresh blood if we want to remain a viable company in today's market. 9. Fight tooth and nail meaning, to use a lot of effort to oppose someone or achieve something. Example, we try tooth and nail to clear SSC exam. 10. Friend at court meaning, help on time. Example, at the time of my brother's appointment, I found Imran a friend at court. 11. Face the music meaning, go through an unpleasant experience. Example, he was part of an illegal racing gang and had to face the music when they were busted. 12. Feather in one's cap meaning, it means to have an achievement in one's name. Example, one does not get chances to add a feather in their cap too often, so the opportunity to do so should be utilized well. 13. Feel under the weather meaning, to be ill or feel ill. Example, she has just returned from her vacation, but is feeling under the weather and has a sore throat and running nose. 14. Fit as a fiddle meaning, a very healthy person. Example, the team had partied late into the night, but on match day, each of them was as fit as a fiddle. 15. Freudian slip meaning, a speaker's unintentional mistake revealing his true thoughts. Example, the reporter made a Freudian slip and said condom instead of condemn. Important idioms and phrases